Wicked witches. I am on holiday on my holly bobs and I'm at my in-laws house, and I'm in Guernsey. I've been in England for the last week and then came back and went to my friend's house. We did the dark moon ceremony, which was wonderful, but it meant that I wasn't able to film me doing a reading for you there, so I'm going to do it here instead. Lovely, love this. And it was about the Sagittarius dark moon, which has come off the back of Scorpio dark moon and Aquarius season. The Aquarius epoch beginning, the age of Aquarius. So Pluto has now moved finally into Aquarius for the next 20 odd years. It was 16 years in Capricorn and then starts dovetailing into Aquarius, and I love my little unicorn onesie, and we're going to be in this Aquarius age now, and so there's a lot of atmosphere of tilling the ground and preparing for something, but kind of without it being a big rush of a start, because this year was an 8 year, 2024, 2 add 2 add 4 equals 8, and that's the number of life force energy, and next year is 9, which is a very gentle, kind of subtle energy that's about sort of preparing and tilling and nurturing the land ready for fruition, which is a 10 year, which will be the year after, so 2026. So so there's this kind of gentle start to this Aquarius age, it feels like, which is also being reflected in the micro of the fact that it's Mercury retrograde at the moment, so there's this sort of gentle energy going into the new year of like, slow down, it's not a time to start things, it's not, it's a time to reevaluate, reassess, do creative work, and then there's creation hibernation. Next year's about getting more from less, and subtlety and nuance and delicacy, and so, which I'm really up for. Like this last year's year 8 is a big energy, life force energy, and I have been burnt out all year, and so just sort of doing the big work. So how do we till the land? And the cards for this moon are, so this is because it's a spectrum, isn't it? And this spectrum is Gemini, which is the lovers, the twins, and that's the sacred marriage between the inner and the outer, the twin effect, the yin and the yang. So that's the sacred marriage. So it's you balancing everything, balancing your inner and outer, balancing your bits. And then once you've done that, so it's kind of like a level of enlightenment. Once you've done that, what are you then going to create? So this is this balance being, this is the Sagittarius card, who's balanced, who's got the different things there and is able to work with their twin and work with their inner and outer. And then it's how can you be of service and alchemize shit into gold? How can you alchemize your difficulties, your problems, turn them into gold? So these are the powerful cards. This is powerful energy, and that's what this moon is about. Is setting the intention, because this is like, so we did our mojo bags, we made our intention bags, but instead of it being for this lunar cycle, it was like more to do with the whole Aquarius age. So we created the bags. Oh, my bag's under there, I'm not going to show it. We created the bags with the intention of being able to like hold them to your heart throughout the year, or throughout the next 20 years, and just like hold it to your heart and connect with a dream of a future that we've dreamed into being this evening. And we said, so mote it be. We dreamed this future into being, and then putting objects and intentions into the bag based on what the future is that we want to create and what we want to imagine. And that actually could be a daily practice, because you need to imagine the future you want so that it doesn't just happen at you. So create or be created. And because this next age is Aquarius, which is air, our words will be creating our reality more than ever. So our words are spells, and we have to think of what we're spelling into being. So we can't just keep talking negatively about the future and about the world and reality. We need to be talking positively. We need to be telling stories of hope and creativity and imagining a better world and holding this bag to our hearts with this world and imagining it, I imagined like us, that the elements had got harder, like the weather had got really bad, and that we had fucked up. But that had taught us that we needed to actually do something about it, and that we were living in kind of like hobbit houses underground, so you couldn't really see towns and cities anymore. They were like hidden in hills, and it was way more like hidden in nature, and that nature was all just sort of running around, moving around, and it was more savage, really harsh winters and like kind of crazy weather. But we'd learnt to work with it, and we still had internet and we still had technology, but it was like, you know, dark skies, like there wasn't street light. It was just, it was all a lot more conducive to the natural world. And there was domed cities that were batty and mental, and you could go dip into them anytime you wanted to. But the narrative wasn't that that world was better or that world was better. It was that they were all coexisting. So there was even like cities of like white picket fence, you know, kind of world. And if you like that, then that's your thing. And yeah, not many people of colour lived there, but you could go and visit, and you could go and have a milkshake, and you could go to the burger bar or whatever, and like go there as a visitor and be like, oh, this is nice, this is your thing, this is the way you like to live. But it's still a like tourist thing, a tourist attraction. But everyone's is, you know, that we're all able to go visit. You can go to, you know, New Orleans and have this New Orleans experience. But most of us are living out in the countryside in these like really community driven, more indigenous, like completely communicating with the natural world reality, with really beautiful folk festivals and big celebrations where we all come together and there's a real sense of community. But the story and the narrative is about like, live your life the way you want to live it, but we'll do it in harmony with each other, and we do it supporting each other and in celebration of each other. And you do you, that's fine, no problem whatsoever. We'll all just be allowed to do our thing. We're all allowed to do our thing. And that, that felt really inspiring. I really loved the feeling of that. And that's the reality I'm going to live into. That's the one that I'm going to imagine and create. So I'll do a reading for you. This Sagittarius moon feels like the preparation for the ride that we're going on into Aquariusness. So I'm going to use one of these runes. They are new runes that are made from clay. And the first one, Haglaz. So yeah, this is the rune of basically a shit show. It's the rune of a storm. There is a storm, and that be happening. But this too shall pass. Storms do not last forever. Hail melts. So it can feel like we're screwed, but at the same time, it's just ice. And it is about being brave. So this is in the physical world. It's about being brave. And I'd say especially that's about us being brave about living in a completely different way. If we'd reacted sooner, then the brakes being put on could have been done in a more gentle way. We haven't, which was foreseeable. It was pretty obvious that that was going to happen. So therefore the brakes are going to have to be a little bit more slammed on. But we're still going to be able to do it. We will be okay. It's going to be a bit more of a shock to the system. We've just got to be brave. We just got to go for it. We just got to accept that that was obviously going to be the way it was going to go. And we just got to go for it. And it's all about community. And this is in the communication. So it's about community. It's about heritage and inheritance and support and us, our culture, and just, holding it all together. It's about us telling stories about how we're connected and how we do belong together and how we are all one. And bright sunshine in our willpower. So this is about us like just joyfully doing the things that we got to do. So let's build new houses, and let's build hobbit houses, and let's be loving the fact that we all get to live in hobbit houses that are off-grid and eco-friendly and like, what's the word? There's thermodynamics, and so like it's self-sufficient basically. Hiding in nature and just inoffensive to the natural world and cheap to live in and beautiful. And it's all about the twin. So that's exactly what the art card was. It's the twin effect. It's a spiritual gift. That this whole endeavour, this whole experience, this whole shit show is actually a spiritual gift, because it's the next step in our development. And if we hadn't done this, I think the only thing that would have brought humanity together, other than environmental meltdown, would have been a alien attack. Because otherwise we were going to just carry on pootling along in our like, this is my country, that's your country, and them being separate things. Whereas this environmental meltdown and this step of the game, or this stage, this level in the game, has enabled us to come together and break down borders and things. I know that hasn't happened yet, but that's what we're going to become, humanity out of this. We're going to be one humanity with different, you know, tribes, different worlds, different flavors, but that we create space for that and celebrate that and have fun going on holiday and day trips to each other's vibes. But like, no, I wouldn't want to live there, but I'm well up for a Mad Max like weekend. Or I'm like, I wouldn't want to live there, but I'm well up for a Las Vegas weekend. I wouldn't want to live there, but I'm well up for a Hobbit holiday, you know. But there are people that that's the way they want to live, and they live their lives that way, and that they're just celebrated, marketed, visited places that people go to, that people want to experience. So, success. There we go. That's very nice. Thank you very much. We'll have a bit of that. So a nice bit of juicy success. We will survive. We will win. And it's a Taurus card as well. And it's got a rose in the middle. So this is the path of Venus and us celebrating our talents and beauty and art, and yeah, just beautiful. And then adjustment, because it's about us finding this balance of the yin and the yang, and the adjustment of it's not just balance in a like, but about how, you know, like Chernobyl or cities get left, but they'll get grown over, that nature will, so it will heal itself, that whatever happens, it will heal, and that we'll be okay. Oh, and there we got peace. I've never pulled that card before. And then we have peace. Two of Swords, that we will find peace. Well, that's lovely. I don't normally pull those cards. They're quite different ones for me to pull. That's exciting. And now I'm going to pull one of these. Now, I don't normally use it. These are the cards that I pull every day for myself. I don't normally use them in a reading because I just use different cards for different things. But because I've been on holiday, these are the ones I've got with me. I haven't got all of my other decks with me. So I'm going to pull one of these for the central one. And this will be our kind of goddess nudge, or god. These are gods and goddesses. Isis, sacred contracts. Oh, I do love Isis. Right, so I'll read out what she's got to say. So sacred contracts even. Rise into your power and purpose. Heal the mother wound. Isis, pronounced Isis, was worshipped in ancient Egypt for over 7,000 years. Her devotees were prevalent throughout both the Greek and Roman occupations of Egypt and spread into the wider Mediterranean. She encompassed the magic power of all other deities and therefore was known as the Lady of 10,000 Names. Isis played a central role as spiritual teacher and mother to the great leaders of the ancient Egyptian civilizations. Within goddess spirituality, she's known to hold unique keys to sacred feminine power. Mary Magdalene, which is what's referred to on this, is the path road, the rose path, rose in the middle, and Taurus, Venus, Aphrodite. Mary Magdalene, right, so yeah, within goddess spirituality, she's known to hold unique keys to sacred feminine power. Mary Magdalene was initiated in priestess magic under her tutelage. Queen Isis guards our sacred contracts to the great goddess. She helps us rise above past limitations to fulfill our soul's deepest role on earth. A life-transforming process is underway. Deep from the underbelly of the Great Mother, a wake-up call is sounding. Hold out her golden ankh symbol. Queen Isis speaks to you. It's time to develop and share your deepest soul gifts. You're activating sacred contracts to your divine feminine mission on earth. These are spiritual agreements that reside in your consciousness. There are many ways to answer your contracts. If you commit to healing from trauma, you'll be an inspiring example. If you choose to live from your inner truth, you'll make it possible for others to do the same. Your sacred contracts are rooted in whatever you most dream of doing, being, and giving. One thing is clear, when you draw this card, you're expanding beyond all limited ideas of who you are and what you think you can do. I bring your relationship with your mother into a healing space and may guide you into therapy. Don't fear this process. It can bring karmic soul healing for your entire lineage, and you'll be free to be fully yourself. What that feels to me is it's time to really go there with believing what's possible, which is what I've been saying already with the Sagittarius thing and what the reading's saying in general. I saw Brian Blessed recently, bloody great, talking on a podcast called We Can Be Weirdos. I was like, how can I forget? My favourite podcast, absolutely brilliant, highly recommend it. So he did a live show, and I went and took Dizzle in London to go and see it. And he's climbed Everest 4 times. And he talks about how up in Everest, you can't hide from the goddess. He said down here, you can get away with dicking around, basically, and messing the place up a bit. Whereas up, the higher up you go, the closer you get to her, the more exposed you are to her. And if you go up Everest and you think you can conquer her, or you think you can treat her with disrespect, then she will destroy you. And he went up with some Sherpas, and it was all predicted, the weather forecast and everything was saying it was going to be sunny and glorious the next day. And the Sherpas the next day were like, no, we're going home. You've cursed this expedition. And they're like, why? And he went, oh, the French have shit everywhere. And they've disrespected the mountain. And everyone's like, well, can we please, is there anything we can do to make amends? And he said, well, they can clean all the shit up, and then we have to do 2 weeks of prayers and beg for forgiveness. And so they did. So they were there at base camp for 2 weeks praying. And then after 2 weeks, and again, the weather went bad, just as the Sherpas had said, even though it was predicted to be blue skies. And the Sherpas were like, told you, and the weather was bad. And then after 2 weeks of them doing the prayers and stuff, the weather cleared, and the Sherpas went, yep, she's okay for us to go up there now. And he just said that happens all the time, like you are so exposed. And what I believe with this and my vision of the future with us living in this more Indigenous way is our relationship to the communication with Gaia, with the sentient being that is Mother Earth, that is the goddess, is going to be significantly enhanced and developed. And I don't mean that in a religious way. I mean that there is absolutely fully a relationship to be had with Mother Earth. And I didn't go walking this year on a pilgrimage, and I really, really feel that I haven't hung out with someone I really care about, and I really miss her. And it's making me feel depleted. So I need that time with her. I need to get out there and spend time with her. So that's, when I'm imagining this future, it's not just like practical. There's an inner world aspect to it that's very connected to the earth and the feminine and the goddess. And yeah, a sentient two-way relationship with the land that we are lucky to be born from. So that's what I'm seeing in that. And with that, God rest. Take care. Love you. And I'll see you in a couple of weeks.